Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to focus on the lace prompt, make a few decisions and get my lace displayed in like a sampler a salesman would use, say back in the 1700s, to present to different haberdashery stores. But firstly, I stitched my mood board pieces. Let me come up a little bit on that camera. And I found more lace too, for goodness sakes. I'm going to need volumes, I think. Anyway, these are now stitched. And if you watched my last video, I showed you how I tore a piece of calico or muslin and I stitched the pieces on. And that now is what I would call a signature. So my mood boards now have a home. This piece here wrapped around, so that sort of gave it a little bit more of an interesting finish. And then when I was attaching, I realized that this little guy at the bottom also came up and around. So you can definitely drag images and pieces from one page onto another, and it works really well. So that is now ready to be stitched into a tab of fabric to create a point of which it can be attached to something. So at the moment, I'll leave it at that, and I'll do a similar sort of thing for the lace journal. So let's first lace. I forgot that when I was at the retreat with Lisa Mattock, there was a little business connected to the actual homestead that we were staying at for the week. And the lady that owns the business had taken on selling Olna's stash. Now, this was a lady that she had heard of through one of the retreats. She had passed away, and she had a huge collection of laces from Germany. So I went to town and they were so reasonably priced. So I really want to do a few of these pieces in my sampler. But I honestly think this is a project in itself where we pay homage to Olna and put all these pieces somewhere safe. I don't know, I just feel like I need to do that. But we will take a few little morsels out of that collection as well. Like, look at this. Look at that. I've never seen anything like it. Just so beautiful. Okay. Stay focused, girl. Attention span of a gnat. All right, so we have our 4 panels of which we will build our lacy scenes on. And we also have a bigger piece, which is my signature that they will be attached to. Now, scooting forward a little bit, if this is something you want to do with some of your pieces, I know we're all sort of creating clusters, and a lot of you are starting to feel your way of what are you going to do with all these prompts and clusters. If you decide to go down the track of a journal, prepare all your signatures, and then at the end you can work out, you know, your cover and how thick your spine needs to be. But what I would do next is I would grab a piece of fabric. Let's say it's this one, because I like the width. So I'm getting sidetracked already, but it's all part of it. It's all part of it. And these things I've got to work out too. That's about 3 inches. I don't mind that for a width. And it's about 7 inches. I like that as well. So what I would do, where's a pen? Sidetracked again. Oh my goodness me. Every time I come into this room, I just head off on a different tangent. I don't have my pen, but what I would do is I would mark probably every... See, fabric's bulky. And you don't want it putting pressure on here if you don't have enough room for all these signatures to sit. So I would probably allow, and it sort of squishes a bit, at least ½ an inch, at least. So it would be a case of find the middle And I'd probably even make this piece here 9 inches, even 10 inches. You can always trim it, but at least it's nice and long. I would mark the middle, then I would come out maybe half an inch should do it, but I'm going to just give a little extra. So, you know, another 8. Mark it, mark it, mark it, mark it. So let's say you do 4 or 5, and then you get to there. Make sure you just have plenty that can attach to the actual cover itself. Now you would cut 2 of these, so let's assume this is 2 and that is cut. You've marked it. You can now stitch on your first signature. So you would find the middle here with a mark, the middle here, and the middle down here. So you would have 3 strips of fabric. You can have 2. You could have a big one, like so. But just remember, the more signatures, the more space you're going to need. Then you need a lump of fabric. So let's pretend this is the cover that would adhere to. So then you get that is glued into position. It becomes the cover, and you've got this spine that all your signatures are stitched into. So it's not a really good tutorial, but it gives you a bit of an idea of where I'm heading. So I would probably, I'm going to do probably a 9-inch piece. We'll do it in the next video, and we'll attach this guy. By then we might have it'll probably be a couple videos. We'll have the lace ones done, and we can start stitching them onto this little piece. Just remember, you will need 2 pieces, because the cover, let's say the signature's now stitched in, that's the lace one. This gets split. Here we go. Let's say that's the cover of the book. That gets opened, glue, adhere, and glue. And that's how you attach that strip to the cover. So that cover could be a book cover. It could be a piece of stitchery. So there's nothing stopping you. If you had a piece of stitchery, it becomes the cover. So before it's attached, this would slide in underneath, and then you would have this decorative piece as your cover to your journal, and that back piece would be hidden, so you can then have a soft cover, which I honestly think I'll be doing, because then I can use the beautiful book cover that I've got with that spine that I'm just dancing around as a wrap around it. So I'll have this chunky collection of my work within the hard cover to protect it. So it'll be just a different way of putting it together. Anyway, we'll get to all that, but that's where I'm heading with it. If that's something you think you will probably want to do, well then, yeah, it might be a solution for you. So I'm going to put the signature away, and I just need a blank slate. All right, let's wind back the clock. It's now, let's make it 17:01, and we own a lace factory. We've got some gentlemen to head out to the haberdashery stores, and we need to showcase our beautiful collection of lace. So what I'm going to do is place down some background fabrics, and because of the time of the century it is, I'm going to use some old girls. Now that I think is from the stocking. I had that out the other day. That's the stocking from my Christmas shop that I used in the Roxy Christmas project. So I know that's modern. That there is modern. So let's be picky. Let's be picky. That's a placemat from the thrift store. I'd have to be close. If I stay within this pile, that is beautiful as well, and it's not modern. So I'm sort of looking for pieces that will give me a variety of colour Now the one thing I will be doing with this, now normally we do this invisible stitch, and it's a tedious way of, you know, making sure everything is stitched out. I'm not going to do this with this project because I think that it would have been tacked down, big stitches to hold it into place. I just think it would have been more of a slap together job. Nothing against boys, but I would say that it would have been a very simple construction, possibly with a different coloured thread. I will do it in the cream because that's just me. I like to, you know, matchy-matchy. But I would suspect they would have pretty much used whatever they had to create their journal. Well, it wouldn't have been a journal, it would have been a sample book. So, and to make the laces pop, we're changing up the backgrounds a little bit, just so it's not so monochromatic. Is that a word? So I'm just going to do a large tacking stitch through it. And that'll hold out. Better put some pins in, girl. Like someone's getting a little bit ahead of herself. And as I said in the last video, I would love to have some names on these laces, but I'm going to need your help because I know a little bit, but between all of us, we might just be able to know a lot. So when we get to the lace stage, I'll number them. And if you guys recognize something or you can confirm something, you know, you either own it or you know a little bit more about lace than I do, please tell me, because I plan to use a little tag on them so that our salesmen know what they're selling when they get out there. You'd think the factory would know, but the factory doesn't know. They just make this stuff. We need the customers to tell us what we're actually making. How silly. Okay. Let's just get some nice big, gee, this is really odd for me. I'm so used to doing invisible stitch. To do a big tacking stitch feels a little, I don't know, not right. Oh, maybe we just do a tribute to Olna's treasures. Oh my goodness. I've got to stop thinking of projects. Seriously, it just never ends. I open a box somewhere in my room and I'm like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do this. I told you I bought a notebook. Just got to write stuff down. Would be a treasure, wouldn't it? Okay. All right, so that's the first piece secured. Doesn't that feel a bit odd? How quick was that? All right, now let's get another piece and stitch down this guy. So I hope you all had a great weekend, or it might be Sunday for you, wherever you are in the world. I had a fairly quiet one. Didn't do a lot. Did a bit of housework. That's exciting. Okay. Yep, I like that. Yeah, that feels nice and secure, yet still got that simplistic feel about it. At least with these different tones of fabrics too, we'll be able to make the lace pop. You want to show your lace. You don't want to have a background fabric that overpowers your lace, because it's all about, you know, a sample book is trying to sell lace. So we've got to be mindful of the presentation, I believe. So I'd be looking for something fairly dark down there, something fairly light up here. I'm thinking it'll be a bit of a lineal display, but it doesn't mean that some of the motifs can't be clustered on the page, because, you know, they could be laid around the page. I tell you, if you inherited some beautiful lace from someone in your family, this would be a lovely way of creating a little bit of a journal before you go and chop it up and use it and disperse it through the room. Or not the room, well, literally your room. Capture that lace. And that's what I feel like I need to do, because I've, you know, have the French lace, and now I have this beautiful lace from this lady and her collection. I think I really need to just stop and do something with it like this, so that, you know, in the years to come, when that lace is being used in many projects, at least I can come back to this and go, oh yeah, that's my French trip, or that's Olna's lace from Germany. And I'd probably guess surrounding countries, but I'm not sure. I wish I knew a little bit more about all of these laces. That would just be lovely. Slowly, slowly learning. Takes time, doesn't it? So what I'll do as I place these laces down is, I'm not going to say any names that I think they are, because I don't want to influence you guys. I'll just see what you guys suggest as being the name, and then we'll go from there. I'll do a little bit of research too. Well, I sort of have been already, just typing in styles of lace from history. Those dogs, I tell you, they get so excited once they've had their breakfast and they're out frolicking in the yard, catching the morning rays. Oh, to be a dog, I tell you. All right, last bit. So that secure is as simple as that. So we might do the French laces first, because I sort of don't want to dig too deep into Olna's, because I think that's a project on its own, but we'll see. Okay. Alrighty, so that's it. I won't trim that yet, because I don't mind the fact that it's sort of just hanging off. I kept this side fairly straight because that's going to be attached to the center of my signature page. So I sort of feel like I might keep it a little tidier. So let's move the fabric out of the way. Now, I had thought about including some paper as well. So let's just get ourselves a little organised. Got needle and thread. Okay, French lace. So where are you? Now, in our process of going through this, I need to find a collar for Honey Bear's dress. So this here is very fine lace. That has to find a home. All right. That's lace number 1. I like that. Might zoom in a little bit so you guys can get some detail. Oh, don't say numbers, girl. I won't say numbers because I might just put that much on because it'll confuse you. So once we get the page laid out, I'll then number it. So I'm going to pin them at the moment. Now, to me, that's not real old. This is old. Oh, it's so pretty. Let's keep looking. That's old. That's come off something. We just won't have enough room for it all. Just will not have enough room. That's old. Let's just tidy that up. It's so delicate. So you won't see it on there. We need to see it on there. So let's just lay him there for now. So we can see him. There's another one in there that's very white. This one. This here feels like it's a bit of an old girl. Oh, just not enough room. Maybe, oh, this one too. For goodness sakes. I'm going to need a massive book. That sort of feels like it's similar to that. That feels synthetic. That's not old. That feels, this one is old. Maybe we'll pop some little ones on, then it'll feel like I'm achieving more. Ah, here we go. Is this the collar? Yep, that's it. That's one of them. I'm pretty sure I've got 2. That's one of them. Still got its little tag on it. Okay, so we need to keep that out for Honey Bear. Honey Bear, where are you? Oh, she's out gallivanting. She's never around. Maybe we move this guy up a little bit. Don't be so centered. Then this guy could come up a little bit. Yep, a little bit more random. So they're from my side of the family. So old, but probably not old enough. Anything exciting in that? Oh, look, you could just do a whole crocheted and I think that's probably it for that container. I haven't found a home for him yet, or him. I've got those. That is beautiful. Big piece like that might be better on the mannequin. I've got to remember that I've got space over there as well for, you know, bits and pieces. Maybe move this one down a little bit. Like, we're not even in camera. For goodness sakes, girl. I want you to see the detail of the lace, but makes the area of which I can work with you less. I'm going to save those 2 pieces for the next page. That I think will go in the mannequin. Now I've got another little bag of laces that are smaller, so let's put that tray away. I think we've rummaged to that. That's the little bag, that'll be handy for little laces. Okay, and oh, that's another little one that, oh, it's just disappearing. So we've got some clothing pieces as well. The bonnet, the glove, the collar. That's a doily. That's a doily. That's a doily. This has definitely got to find a home. So that and that are the next ones for sure. I think that's Italian and that's part of crocheting. So if I end up doing a bit of a tribute to crocheting, which is grandma to a T, which I'd say I will. So I'd like to have some, I'd love to have got those crocheted edges that she used to put on all the doilies. So I will be digging out those patterns and having a go. So let's have a look through here. This is a little bag of, oh, look at this old girl. These will need a little press. That's come off of a sleeve. Look, it's in a circle. Oh my goodness. Oh, aren't you a pretty girl? Okay, we're going to break the circle. I'll have to iron it just to get it flat. It's so delicate. I feel like it needs to go down here. Talk about squeezing in as many as we can. Well, we want lots of sales, don't we? We've got to show them what we've got. Oh, that little one there, look at that. It's so delicate. You picture that on lingerie. I think that has to go there. Yeah, I like that. So there's our selection. Now what I had thought, so there's plenty more there that need to be captured. So there's some little pieces of tatting. So we've got plenty to play with for the next bits of fabric. Like seriously, where do they come from? Now, I might start detaching. Just love the curve there. I think I need to make that one a bit bigger. I'll match that one in size to the one above. I like the stain on that. It shows the age. And this one. We want a big piece of that. I can see that curvature of the fabric there, so of the lace. So I want to capture that scallop. We've got 2 flowers. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So those there are accounted for. So we can put them back. Put that back. Okay. I feel like we're making progress. Now, I had this idea. This is drafting paper that came from my grandmother's sewing room. And I've been using it for journals and things like that. But I just want to add a little bit I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but just it doesn't tear real well, or does it? Oh, it does. Okay, great. So I can make it look a bit rough. And it could have little notes written on it, you know, as if there's like little commentary. So I thought like little pieces just stitched in like that. I'll move that lace over a little bit. I don't know. I'm just going to try it. Maybe the manufacturer would write, you know what would be really cool is just have some pins. If I pin that, it's going to be forever have a hole in it. I might stitch it down. And I know it's down. And I'll do the tacking stitch. And then in pencil, I'm thinking I'll write some scribble there, like it's a maker's mark, like it's a note. Maybe it's a little note to say this lace is in short supply, 12% discount. You know, that type of thing. Like we've got to think like a salesman. Notice I say salesman because I'm sure it was the lads who got the joy of working and going out to all of these businesses. But I bet there were some sassy ladies in amongst the industry. We just never hear of them because you just don't hear of them. But I bet there were. Behind every good man is a great lady. Isn't that the saying? Before I get too carried away too, I need to make sure I've got the lace up the right way. I think I do. I wonder where they've come from. They're not mine. That's like little morsels that have come out of that pack of lace. I could pin the tag to them, couldn't I? They just look beautiful. I'm just going to pin them there. I don't know where they've come from, but they feel really old. Like I feel like I could stretch that fabric and it would just disintegrate. So I'm just going to pop them on our page. Why not? They'll only rattle around my desk and then disappear into the abyss. So they have now got a home. They've come from that pack of lace, which is a cluster of goodies from Forage. Lisa Mattock, that's who hosted the retreat. So I sort of, maybe I tuck it a little bit under you and have it peeking through like that. And then I can potentially catch it down with just some large tacking stitches. This is how Grandma used to tack pattern pieces to things as well for fittings. She'd have the pattern tacked to a piece of fabric when she was doing drafting. You can easily stitch paper into your pieces. It's just, it's not forgiving. You make your decision on where your needle's going to go and that's it. You are committed, because once you make a hole, you can't undo it. It's very much able to be stitched. Just really makes things interesting. Oop, I've made a hole. I'm going to have to commit to it. It's a little stitch. That's all right. Random is good. Okay, we're back to where we were. So that's in place. So we can write a little manufacturer's note on that. Lovely. What else can we do? So I wonder if I can add another little piece somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe that and that's enough as my little bits. Let's have a look at this pattern paper, because I had thought of including a little bit of this tissue. Anything interesting? Pocket pants. And I just tear that little bit of text out. And just, I like that arrow as well. So let's just tear that out. And we can put this away. You want it so it's instantly recognisable that there's text from a pattern. What we might do, see, even just the fabric, there's just this tone of paper, colour is what I'm trying to say. Maybe we just pop a little piece. I wonder if it'd make this, yeah, look at that. It makes the lace pop a little bit. It's like showing the detail of the lace. So let's just pop that under there as a little way of, see how the lace makes that, other paper makes that pop a little bit. So let's try it down here. Let's take a longer piece and see if we can get it under there to showcase the lace. Yes, 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 yes. I like it. Lovely. So maybe it's just plain paper I want, not so much the text. I suppose that then keeps it generic for the year, doesn't it? I probably didn't have printed paper like that. Yeah, good one, Corrine. You just slipped probably, I don't know, when did the patterns start looking like this? So what we want is we just want paper. We just want a piece of paper to highlight patterns within the lace because the background might be too pale. So the factory says, go grab me some paper so that we can really show them. That's for the next one. So we can really show the design of the lace. So there you go. There's my theory behind it. Makes it look interesting. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is just tack the lace down. I'll probably sneak back and do some invisible stitch as well, just for my own enjoyment. And that way I know too that the lace is nice and secure. I probably shouldn't because I'm trying to be whatever. Trying to be realistic of how this would have looked. So I'm just going straight through that fabric there. Okay, now one of, actually there were two of you suggested that in the description of these laces, we have the width of the lace. If this is a salesman's resource, you'd want written the size of these laces. I thought, genius, ladies. See, we have to assume these salesmen are simple fellows. So the factory needs to know that all the information's there. You know, just tacking them down will probably work. It is holding it. I'll just move that for a second till I decide if that little piece of fabric stays. I think it will, because I really love just breaking it up a little bit. I really jiggered that knot up. Okay, so the first lace is secure. I've now flipped it upside down. I wonder when they displayed their lace, they have the bottom of the lace this way or the other way up. I don't know if they thought that much about it. Okay, so before I get sidetracked, what I'm going to do now is using some calico, we're going to make some little numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if no one knows the name of these laces, I'm just going to say lace 1, lace 2, lace 3, white, and their size. We'll keep it generic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if it turns out that we do and can name some of them, that's just a bonus. So, but if we can't, doesn't matter. So these little pieces, of course, I could have had a pen, fabric pen here, couldn't I? Which I don't. Doesn't probably matter. Oh, there it is. I do have it. Because an option is I could stitch these numbers as well. So I'll do them in fabric pen. But if I did decide to stitch them, I can, because I do like how we've got these little bits. 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So I'm thinking, let's keep it a little uniformed. I like all my little straggly bits. And 6. I think I will have to stitch them. I guess too, let's think like a salesman here. If you're taking an order for lace, the number would be the easiest way to do it. They probably would be detailed and write down, you know, Osmoberg lace or fine silk lace, whatever the story was. But you've got to remember too that some of these people back then had very little ability to speak English, write. Education was pretty light on. So if the salesman could just write, you know, the number of each one down in his order book, I think that would potentially be, you know, pretty interesting way of helping your men, you know, take an order for you. Okay, now, so I guess the question is, will this idea work? Let's have a little look. Should do. A garment pin. Hold that thought, guys. We need a garment pin. And let's see if these hold the tag on okay. Otherwise we'll scrap this idea. We might keep it together with the number. Will it look too much? I could probably put a stitch in it to hold it. Yeah, I think I will. Otherwise, how many in the pack? 12. Gosh, we're going to use a few of these. Wonder if I can find more of them. I think I got them from my local $2 shop. I know the company, Portercraft. I order Christmas stock from those guys for my business. But how long have I had them? Probably could make some tags. These do look rather cool. I suppose if the next page didn't have as many laces on it, yeah, so don't panic, girl. I like that. So this is where we will write. Well, I might save a tag and I can write on there about that lace. That's how we'll do it. That'll stretch them out a little bit. I'm sort of getting ahead of myself here. I really need to be stitching the lace down, don't I? Oh, gosh, I tell you. That's all right. It's fun. So what I'll do next is I'll bring the camera right down tight, give you all a really good look at those laces. And then if you can shed some light on what you think they are, we'll have a bit more fun by getting some names. I might put another piece, we're going to save him. Let's put another piece of brown paper in there. Just a little bit underneath. Let's just pop. Might even break it down a bit more. Pop that in there. We can number that one. Or not number it, write a name on it if one comes to be, or at least a manufacturing. Could be even just the size of it. Doesn't have to be totally realistic, you know. For goodness sakes, this is just our attempt to collage something that is inspired by. See, this is where artists have creative license. It was inspired by, which means it doesn't have to look like a frog. It's inspired by a frog. Oh, this makes me want to do an actual panel instead of a book to have on the wall of all these different laces. A sampler. Ow! Goodness me. Stop thinking and concentrate on what you are doing, girl. Gee, I just heard my grade 4 school teacher. Okay, let's spin that around. So the bottom of this panel is quite stitched, so I'm sort of needing to work up. I'll leave the numbers pinned for now until we see what comes from all the comments. I love the tacking stitch look. Very cool. Don't be afraid of showing where the creator has been. Like, leave your stitches in. Someone said that. I know I've heard that a couple times, where leave your building stitches in place because it shows where the creator has been. And I thought that was, you know, lovely. Okay. Yeah, I really like that. Okay, just having a thought, but I need to think about the thought first before I open my mouth. Okay, let's bring it up to the camera. So, number 1, the very first one, very fine lace with nearly, like, to me that's a sewing machine has done that. It's got a little trim on the end, but I don't know. This one here, just a little cream lace. Like, if you guys know the names, it'll be amazing, but it doesn't matter. Old girl. Little fella there. So that's number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got little roses in it. And 6. Very similar to the first one is number 6. Okay, so let's see what comes of it. I suppose depending on, you know what my thought was, trimming these back. But I won't have much room to write. So let's assume that very few names of these laces comes forward. So therefore I won't need as much writing space. So I might trim some of them back to be smaller tags. I do like the idea of the size of the laces on the tag. So therefore I could trim that back and just write 5 mil. Then it's not so big. And then I could put another eyelet in and double my tags. Yes. I'm going to do that. And then if a name of a lace pops up, I can add more brown paper, you know, to write the name of the lace on. That's how we'll do it. That's how we do it. So I'm going to cut those down in size. I'm going to do that right now. Gosh. Let's have a look at one of them. That's just got me 24 little tags. So snip, snip. Right. So now, where's my ruler? We can measure that and say 2 inches. Where's my little guy? And I feel like I need to use pencil. seem to see a lot of pencil written on things in the fabric textile world that's old. I might be wrong. Maybe it's just what I'm just looking for my pencil sharpener. So that one is 2 inch. 2 inch. Yep. Subtle, but it's there. Maybe that pin then can hold on the number, that catalogue number. Yes. So number 1 is a 2 inch lace. So that's what we've got, just a little itty bitty guy. 2 inches, number 1. Okay, now we're cooking. Let's get this little guy out. So I knew it'd come together. Just had to give my brain a chance to catch up. Let's cut this guy. They'll be handy for something. And let's measure. He's only little. He is 3/4 of an inch. Okay. That's better. I like the size. It doesn't feel so overpowering now. And we'll use them to pin that on. I might even just get a permanent black pen to do the numbers so they're nice and clear and it's not. Could couch them. That'd give me a, oh goodness me, talk about create more work. So that one will write on there. This one can have its tag. And it's going to be the little white one. So what's he? 3/4 as well. Okay. So number 4. Is a 3/4 inch lace. Might end up putting a tag on the one above. I do like what's happening here. It's very cute. And being that I have created more little flags now, I'm not needing to be as precious, I guess, of my pieces. Okay, so pin. Oh, how measure. That's an inch. So he's a 1 inch. All right, next one, number 6. I'm going to do little tags. I like the tags as the measuring. Gosh, I've changed my mind like 4 times, but I'm sure you guys are very aware of my style. Hang on for the ride, should call my style. Okay, so this big guy, number 6, he is a 2.5 inch lace. 2.5 inch. So now number 6. So what I'll do is just pop a few little stitches in around that. I think I will write it with the pen. I don't think they would have stitched it because, you know, at the end of the day, they wouldn't have fussed too much. They just would want information that's simple to create. Imagine they probably made half a dozen lace books, maybe more, as they sent them off around Europe to potentially, you know, make some sales for them. I don't know. It's just my imagination creating the scenario. And look, we're hit an hour. Like, seriously, where does time go? So the last lace to measure. See, it's 1.5, but it's nearly 1/8. I'll say 1.5. It's probably more because it's crumpled. You know what I mean? Was that no, it wasn't 1.5. 1 3/4. Yeah, I'll make it 1 3/4. Okay, last one. Where's it? All right, guys and girls, I will leave it at that, and I will go and put some more stitches in so that everything stays where it's meant to stay, and I will look forward to seeing your comments to see if anyone recognises a lace. If we doesn't matter, but I thought there might be a lace historian out there amongst us. Wouldn't that be a treat? That can shed some light. So there's my sampler. We've got the measurements. The light's making it hard to see. We've got the measurements. We can write a little commentary here and there. We might write a sales deal like buy 6 yards and you get 20 yards free because no one wants that lace. We've got some little highlights tucked in underneath so you can see the detail. Little few scraps of fabrics that feel very old and have jumped out at me, so they have to find a home because that's just the way slow stitch is. There we go. We've got our very first page in our lace sampler section of our treasure hunt. I love it. Love it. All right, guys, I will do a bit of stitching and I will be back in the next video and we'll rummage through some more. We've got 3 more to make. Won't that be fun? All right, look after yourselves. Bye.